the special Board of Selectmen meeting for Friday, September 27th, 2024 to order. We only have one piece of business on the table, but I would open it up for public forum in the event that anyone is here for public forum. Hearing none. Item one, discuss and take action to award the purchase of furniture for the Board of Ed offices at 595 New England Road from a state contract. We've got the letter from Cliff. The amount is $194,575. Is there a motion to approve same?
I'll move it.
A second?
Second.
Do we have Cliff? Cliff is not here.
No.
Okay, that
Expecting him? Or
what's that?
did he say he wasn't coming, or?
Karen, did you hear anything? You're muted.
Sorry, I was just checking my emails for a second. As far as I know, he was coming, so he accepted the meeting.
I hadn't seen anything.
I mean, it's off the state contract.
It's pretty straightforward.
What's he gonna say? I mean, we're not gonna argue about what kind of furniture to buy. I don't think.
Charles, you hit it right on the head.
They know what they want. They have the money in the bond.
Right.
It's a lot of money for a lot of furniture. But
a lot of furniture.
Separate discussion.
Well, I do know that they are taking furniture from various locations, so not every piece of furniture going into that new facility is brand new.
I would hope.
Janice and I did a little walk through Lathrop the other day with Paul Freeman, and he let us know what stuff was staying and what was going, and there's a significant number of items that are still staying. So, but a good portion of the stuff that's over at Lathrop House is moving over. So.
I'm sure the two buildings have very different decors too.
And didn't we authorize some spending for a furniture? I think it was a furniture and equipment survey at all the school locations, not the school classrooms, but where they store things, and like the other office on New England Road, and some.
I think we did.
Quonset storage and the barn behind Cox, and they were going to do an assessment. I think.
Yeah. All right. Any further comments or concerns or anything that stands in the way of us approving it, really, other than Cliff's lack of professionalism in letting us know he wasn't going to be here to discuss what he had asked us to have a special meeting for.
Is it? I'm not trying to make the meeting last long, but is it worth Karen just calling him or texting him to see if he meant to be on and just forgot?
I'll call him.
Okay.
Just to give him.
I'm sorry, I had asked him to provide the state contract number as well, but I didn't receive that yet either.
Just to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold
on.
During this brief delay, there's still going to be in that building the gym on the ground floor, right?
Yes, it is.
Which the kids use, the sports teams.
They do. And there was, I've been engaged in a conversation with someone who is looking to expand programming down there. Cliff. Hello? Cliff. All of a sudden it stopped ringing. Let's try it again. Hey, Cliff, how are you? You getting on now? Oh, he lost track. Okay, thank you. He's coming on.
Okay, thanks.
So anyway, I was saying that someone is looking to expand programming. Someone who's been pretty actively engaged in youth sports is also a phys ed teacher, I think, down in Clinton. He's got kids in the system and wants to see if they can better utilize and expand access to it beyond the typical high school sports teams, but and also provide some coaching. But anyway, Cliff, good morning. We've got a motion on the table, and there were some questions. Sandy, you were just asking one in particular about the survey or something.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's germane to what we're talking about today, but we were just talking about you're getting new furniture, but you also plan to use some furniture from other locations, administrative locations. And then I said that I remembered relatively recently that we had approved some funding for study about all the furniture and equipment that the school system has in various locations. So has that been completed already, that study?
Yeah, that study was just strictly for the office furniture. So they went through the 3 locations where we have offices, did that study to determine what furniture was worth reusing. A lot of it's mostly like conference tables and things of that nature. Most of the desks are well past their life expectancy. You know, for example, my desk, I have a primary desk, but my return is actually a piece of plywood that's set on top of a couple of filing cabinets. So there's a lot of mix and match stuff like that. A lot of old teachers' desks from the old high school, you know, the old metal ones, things like that. So a lot of stuff that's not worth bringing over to the new building. So yes, that study was done.
And what I forget, is the third location the barn on near Cox, or where is the third location again?
That's at Calvin Leet, in the back of Calvin Leet, the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions, if I can, quickly.
Certainly, so.
Cliff, your cover letter says that there's 195,000 left on the bond. Is that after taking out this 176, or is that what the 176 comes out of?
That's the 176 comes out of that 190 something, yes.
Okay, so that's cutting it close. What else do you have to do out of those funds?
Those funds were primarily just for the furniture, but so there may be some odds and ends pieces that once we move in that we may have to purchase, but I think that gives us still a good enough contingency that we're in good condition.
Okay, so there's nothing else that you're expecting at this point to come out of the remaining 20,000 or so.
Not for that piece, no, not for furniture. Again,
and
there could be. Well, let me take that back. There could be more furniture needed to come out of that 20,000. Depending once we move in, if there's another filing cabinet or something of that nature, but this sets up the bulks of the offices.
Okay. And then my other question is who decided to get this particular chair, that particular desk? I mean, and the reason I'm asking is that I'm not familiar enough with this stuff to know if it makes sense. Like a $2,000 8x6 workstation. How do I know if that makes any sense or not? So I'm wondering, did Paul put the list together, or did the Board of Ed put their eyeballs on this, or who decided that this is the items?
Right. So we worked with the superintendent on this one. So he reviewed all the setups and layouts, furniture. And then, of course, we worked with Silver Petrocelli. We requested something that was, you know, not high end, but not low end, something kind of in the middle that we felt would be durable enough to last a while and look quasi nice, you know. Yep. And you'll notice there's different levels. So like the individual offices have a slightly nicer furniture versus the reception areas that are more of a metal versus a wood setup. Those are more, I don't want to say cubicle style, but that's that's reference.
Basic. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So just as a quick aside, it was last week, I had a requisition come across my desk from the fire department for some chairs for the office, and I looked at it and I almost fell over. I actually sent the requisition back and said, how many chairs is this for? And it was a lot less chairs than I thought it was going to be. So that second page of the itemization, the chairs, the 22 chairs at $950. That's right in line with what what the fire department was on. So this is office furniture must be a pretty lucrative business these days.
Office furniture sold to the government is a lucrative business these days.
I can sort of. I saw that same line item too, but I think, Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong. You have we're paying this, I'm on a call. We have the list price and then the selling price. We're paying the sell price.
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so there's some discount as a result of either dealing with these vendors or getting the benefit of the state contract.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Because I saw that first one, my eyes piped out too at that.
Yeah.
We buy a lot of office chairs.
Yeah.
And,
No,
and 450 is more in line than
mhm.
950.
Correct.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the middle column too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cliff,
I guess I did have one question since I jumped in. Sue, are you all set?
Yes, thanks.
Cliff, you have for these credenzas, you have 2 items. They're both bolded. Which I presume we're going with the cheaper one?
It could vary depending on what office it's going into.
It would be a $4,000 credenza we would be buying.
3 of them.
3 of them. Yeah.
I mean, not to nitpick individual items.
Yep.
I mean, assuming similar functionality and durability, I guess I'd be interested to know what the heck.
What I think those 3, you know, I'll have to double check on that one.
I was assuming you gave those to us as a comparison.
Right. So most likely, I would suspect, yeah, we're going with option 1 versus option 2 on that.
And so does that mean I haven't run this through the spreadsheet, but does that mean the number's $12,000 less, or did we go with the $5,000 number and that's what's in there?
I believe we may have added in that 12,000, so we'd come in under what I've requested. I'd have to go back and double check my spreadsheet on that, to be honest with you. I may not have just pulled that number out. So my mistake on that one. I'll have to go back and check. I'll let before we submit the PO, I'll double check that to make sure we have the number correct. So
I guess I would sort of amend the motion to say it's not more than 176, 117.53.
There you go. And a second on it.
They're both items are included in that total. I just ran it quickly and
Oh man, you're good, Sue. Jeez.
Yeah.
You can see your fingers moving.
Yeah, she's got that 10 key flying.
right.
You can do it
The
without
lost art.
breaking eye contact.
The young people laugh at me when I do that.
That's impressive.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So
a motion amended in a second. Any other questions for Cliff?
No.
I was just
Cliff, what I do, Cliff, what's the anticipated delivery date on this? And which feeds into the second question is, when do you think they're going to be able to turn over the Lathrop house back to the town?
Yep. Somewhere between 3 to 6 weeks with the furniture, if everything holds. Now, somebody mentioned a strike going on, union strike, that's going to affect, I think, everything. So we're hoping to get this as quick as we can. A lot of it's, I think, standard furniture, so we can get it relatively quickly. I don't see Lathrop House being turned over prior to the 1st of the year. Okay. Most likely because we're going to phase the move-in process. So myself and IT will move in first. That way we can work out the bugs in the heating, cooling, phones, data, all that stuff. And then depending how the superintendent wants to do it, we'll have 2 other moves, one from CO North and one from Lathrop House. So they may happen during Thanksgiving, and then Christmas is what the thought would be. I know the business office is busy up through with budget stuff through about December, getting all the budgets ready. So we'll have to work on that. But I would not say prior to the 1st of the year that we turn over Lathrop House.
Okay.
so
that leads to a second, another question. In the operating budget for fiscal year 24-25, had you included cost of operation and utilities for the Lathrop House through the entire fiscal year, or had you abbreviated it based on some estimate that when you'd be out of there?
We have some funding built into this year's budget to transfer into that. Yes.
Great.
So Cliff, when the various departments move into 595, the building, you're currently in the building that's also on New England Road, right?
Correct.
To the left of the high school. And then there's another group of people behind you said Calvin Lee, right?
Probably.
Yes.
So are those, is the building you're currently in and the Calvin Lee building, are they going to be empty? Is everybody going to be in one spot?
Everyone will be in one spot, but they will not be empty. So CO North, which is central office floor at the building I'm in. So we took all the storage from the old science wing, which is now going to be the Board of Ed offices, which is about 15,000 square feet. That's all sitting in containers outside our office, waiting to get moved into this building here. So this will become the maintenance slash storage facility. So it'll include everything from the science wing for storage, and then we have a outbuilding up at Baldwin. I don't know if you've been up there, but in the back of Baldwin, there's a trailer, and that was our plumbing, electrical, and HVAC shop, we'll call it. So that will get shifted down here as well, and then that trailer will be probably disposed of. It was an old trailer we got from the old bus company, so it's in pretty poor shape. And then Calvin Lee will become dry storage. It can't be used for students. It can only be used for staff and for storage. So we do have quite a bit of storage that we're going to have to kind of situate since we're losing all the space we had at 595. So, yep. So those are the goals. And then obviously Lathrop House gets turned over to the town again.
So in the new 595, all personnel will be in one place. And when you add the square footage from the three places that you were in, does it equal about the same, or are you gaining a little more on top of the three separate areas?
So we're gaining a lot of space moving into the Board of Ed offices. So a lot of offices, especially here at CO North, are extremely small. So we have a lot of people that are excited to get into a reasonable size office up there. Yep. So it does make it cramped as far as storage goes, challenging for us. So we're going to have to be strategic on how we stack stuff and store stuff to try to get everything back out of the containers. Obviously, our goal is not to have stuff in containers and not have it look like it's a disaster area, or you know what I mean, up here. So,
and will the house or the office that you're sitting in right now, I know because I think it was originally just a ranch house or something that's been added on to, right? Will the floors and can it sustain holding heavy storage, I guess is what I'm asking, or we have to put money into that place to make it storageable or whatever?
No, we'll put a little bit of money in to kind of convert it over to the maintenance facility. So the lower level can handle unlimited loading because it is on a slab. So that's where right now we store a lot of the file cabinets, but still the building's structurally sound enough. We have quite a few file cabinets, my office, personnel office, business office. So loading wise, there shouldn't be an issue. Maintenance wise, obviously we've kept the building in good condition. It has, new windows are put in. We've done certain sections of the roof over the years. It's actually almost coming up due again for a new roof, but so we have been maintaining it, knowing that we're going to keep it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Sue?
Yeah, going back to the CO North, I know we've talked about this before. I hear everything you're saying, but the idea that cannot be returned to the tax rolls and provide a housing unit in these times when people don't have any place to live, it doesn't sit right with me. I think that there should be a plan at some point in the near future to stop using that for storage. We know what storage is. When we talk about file cabinets, we know it's stuff that no one's ever going to look at again. And nobody has time, or nobody feels that they have time to actually go through it and do something about it. But I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I think when we originally started talking about the plan for the science wing, so to speak, part of the idea was that we would be getting rid of CO North way back at the beginning. And somehow we drifted away from that. And I don't think that we should give up on that.
I think you're going to find that we have to store stuff in here. But then the question is, if we get rid of CO North, where are you putting the facilities department? Where are you going to put the electrical department, the plumbing department, the HVAC department? There's no room in any schools to do that, right? unless you buy another trailer and park it at one of the schools, and you'd have to buy probably twice to three times the trailers.
But we have other on the town side, we have similar functions, and they're housed somewhere. I mean, isn't there a way to just think about this in the big picture? I don't know, maybe I'm not making
I
any
mean,
sense.
to us, it's a perfect location because we're central. My HVAC guy, he can get to the high school, or he can get to Calvin Lee or Melissa Jones because we're centrally located. Same thing, you know, we have our plows here. So we do all the plowing for all the schools.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of equipment that we have to house somewhere. And being centrally located, especially next to our largest facility, to me, really makes the most sense versus moving us to like DPW and trying to intertwine there. It doesn't make sense to me.
This is
I hear what you're saying.
too. I sort of understand what you're saying. Maybe, and Matt, you may have already have this percolating in your brain, but maybe with the public works project, we've always talked about storage and blah blah blah. Maybe we can think about storage buildings on that property. I don't know how much of that property is, I know it's a lot of acres, but I know not all of it is buildable, but maybe it's something we could just put in our brain, because that is a relatively central location too. It's not on the high school grounds, but it's not that far away. So
most of the cold storage that you're talking about, Suzanne, the files that we never use, right? The files that people never go into. Unfortunately, those files we are required to keep until that person passes away. So if they started and they went through the school system, I got to keep it for 92 years because they lived for 92 years. Because of the state requirements. Same with a lot of my project stuff. If I do a asbestos abatement, testing of asbestos stuff, any of that information, I have to keep that for the life of the school until that school, even then some, I'm not even sure when I can get rid of that stuff. But again, I never look at it again, but I have to store it somewhere. And unfortunately, the state has not, to my knowledge, allowed us to roll to 100% digital. So I can't just scan all those files so that I don't have to cold store them. We have to keep the cold storage somewhere. I don't care where we do it, you know. Again, the bulk of that stuff will be backfilled into Calvin Lee. And then this facility here, all the stuff that's more recent. So if we have students that have graduated, a lot of times we keep those as medium storage or not cold storage, because we may have to go back and pull records over the next couple of years as they go through college and need transcripts and things of that nature. And then eventually they shift everything to cold storage. So there's kind of a process so that we meet the state regulations. But the bulk of this up here, again, will be storage of the maintenance stuff, storage of filters, right? So every school, because we don't have any storage in any of these schools to store most of our supplies. So we have flooring, we have filters, we have plumbing supplies, electrical supplies, all that has to go somewhere. You know, if we have an event that happens at 2 o'clock in the morning and I rupture something, hopefully I have something in storage where I can make a temporary fix, right? To resolve that issue so we open up the next day. So we do need our, obviously, maintenance facilities for those type of things. So I don't want you guys just to think that, oh, there's, you know, 10,000 file cabinets in here just sitting here doing nothing. No, a lot of it has to do with maintenance stuff. When we talk about storage,
I still question whether that's the best use of that space. So you mean that I could call someone and say, I graduated from Guilford High School in 1978. I'd like to have my records, and those exist somewhere where somebody can put their hands on them?
Correct. Especially health records too. I think we have to keep all those as well.
And we have the same retention issues on this side. And to Sandy's point, we are looking at some storage options at this point, particularly for those what they call dead files, right? But you have to retain them. You know, we're looking at offsite storage at an Iron Mountain or something like that. That's going to result in us paying to store them in somebody else's facility, versus storing it in our own facility. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And we're also there's an RFP on the street right now for the town property evaluation of what's the most effective use of the respective town properties, because we're busting at the seams at Town Hall South. We've got challenges here at Town Hall. Picking up the Lathrop House is going to be an added bonus for us, not only for putting people, but for putting some of the filing, the storage that we have. We're almost at capacity in Town Hall in our vaults. It's not really a vault, but in our storage facility in the basement. So this is a challenge we're all facing, and the retention, the state retention things are really difficult. You can't get around them. Our personnel records, you have to keep them, as Cliff said, until people die, per the state regulations. So, and the digitization and just having a digital copy does not suffice at this point. You still need the paper records. CCM is working. One of our platforms is to eliminate that provision, that if you can prove you have it in digital format, you no longer have to retain the paper copies. That and trying to get rid of having to post meetings in a newspaper of local record. But those are two of our agenda items. So I go ahead, Charles. But I apologize. I've got to hop into a meeting with the registrars and the police and fire department around election security. So Charles, go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say I can appreciate what Susan is saying, that location-wise, the building up by the high school and Lathrop House, it certainly is not the highest and best use when you're talking storage and that type of thing. But at this point in time, to make a plan to change it is probably not practical. I know that there's some discussion going on potentially up at the Baldwin site or additional parts of Baldwin site. Maybe that's when that discussion can be had about more logical storage space in a less ideal location, because needless to say, to use Lathrop House for storage is not going to be the highest and best use of that property. But that's a long time fix. I can appreciate Susan's frustration and I agree with her. But it's one of those things that's an opportunity at this point in time that doesn't exist to make the change. So.
Okay. I don't mean to curtail discussion. We can certainly get back to it, but I am personally, I've got to hop into that meeting.
Okay.
So
with
that, we've got a motion and a second on the table. Can I try your minds? All in favor, signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Great. All right. Thank you all. And my apologies for the bum's rush at the end of this.
No.
All right. Thank you all.
Fine. Thanks.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.